I stayed silent when it came out that my father, Herschel Walker, had all these random kids across the country, none of whom he raised. People are questioning my authenticity. I'm done. Don't lie.
What's up, guys? Vincedao here. Be sure to like and subscribe. So Christian Walker has turned on his dad, Herschel Walker. Is it authentic, or was he paid or blackmailed? Should we still support Herschel Walker? I'm going to tell you what I think, but before we begin, tell me right now in the comments what you think. So Herschel Walker, just to set the stage, I think you know who he is. Georgia football legend, Heisman Trophy winner, now the GOP Senate candidate in Georgia. Herschel has a son named Christian Walker. I think most of you know who that is, but just to set the context for people who don't, Christian is a quote-unquote right-wing influencer, so keep that in mind. This is a guy who's made a ton of videos attacking liberals, Democrats, all of that. Christian is pretty controversial within conservative circles because he is a very flamboyant homosexual.
Honey bun, why do you need a month to celebrate who you sleep with? Newsflash, nobody cares. You have all your rights, now shut up. You take a Pride Month out to run around the streets with no clothes on and hook up in public, and then you want to run around crying, oh, I'm so oppressed, no one likes me. Well, stop pushing it in everybody's face. No one cares.
I don't really have time to dwell on that in this video. There's a lot to talk about, so just keep that in mind. But again, viral gay Republican influencer. Keep in mind that he also endorsed his dad last year, campaigned for him, and wished him a happy Father's Day. So they were on good terms, at least publicly. Well, you can imagine most people's reaction last night when he completely turned on his dad, saying, I know my mom and I would really appreciate if Herschel Walker stopped lying and making a mockery of us. You're not a quote-unquote family man when you left us to bang a bunch of women, threatened to kill us, and had us move over 6 times in 6 months running from your violence. Every family member of Herschel Walker asked him not to run for office because we all knew some of his past, every single one. He decided to give us the middle finger and air out all of his dirty laundry in public while simultaneously lying about it. I'm done. Now, a lot of people's first reaction, how much are the Democrats paying you? Right? Because it's very convenient timing. Proud Republican, supports his dad, and then a month before the general election, he totally throws him under the bus. It screams like some type of paid op or some type of blackmail, right? Now, I will say, for reasons I'll get into, I don't think that part is true at this point, but I do think that Christian is definitely morally in the wrong here for reasons I'm going to flesh out. But I think it's more so just him being bitter than the Democrats actually bribing him. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, the context behind the timing is that very recently, the Daily Beast ran a hit piece from an anonymous source claiming that Herschel Walker paid a woman for an abortion in 2009. You know, one of those left-wing anonymous source hit pieces. Don't really know if it's true, right? However, you'll notice that that doesn't seem to be directly what Christian was mad about. He focuses more so on the divorce and the domestic violence than the abortion. So it would seem like he used the timing of that Daily Beast story as an excuse to go after his dad for other reasons, right? Doesn't it kind of seem like that? Hold on to that thought. We will continue. Well, today, Christian Walker posted a follow-up video about the situation. We will play some of it, and then I will finally explain what I really personally think about the situation, all right?
I stayed silent as the atrocities committed against my mom were downplayed. I stayed silent when it came out that my father, Herschel Walker, had all these random kids across the country, none of whom he raised. And you know my favorite issue to talk about is father absence. Surprise, because it affected me. That's why I talk about it all the time, because it affected me. Family values, people. He has 4 kids, 4 different women, wasn't in the house raising one of them. He was out having sex with other women. Do you care about family values? I was silent lie after lie after lie. The abortion card drops yesterday. It's literally his handwriting in the card. They say they have receipts, whatever. He gets on Twitter. He lies about it. Okay, I'm done. Done. Everything has been a lie. We were told at the beginning of this he was going to get ahead of his past, hold himself accountable, all of these different things, and that would have been fine. Go ahead. He didn't do any of that. Everything's been a lie. Everything's been downplayed. Everything's been cutting corners.
Okay, with that said, here's what I really think. Firstly, however Christian feels, I think he's going about this the wrong way. Herschel, obviously, has not been a perfect father, but this is a family matter. They clearly have communication with each other. So airing all of this out publicly, it's just not the way you go about this. But regardless, let's break it down. So Christian focuses on 4 central things: the divorce, the domestic violence, his 4 different kids, and the abortion. But fundamentally, in his own words, Christian's big problem is not the checkered past itself. It is the fact that he is lying about it despite promising to be upfront about it, apparently. So let's go over that, right? And let's first talk about him as a father. There's no denying that Herschel fumbled the ball, pun intended, as a father. But the claim that Herschel lied or covered up the fact that he has 4 kids, this is just not true. The Daily Beast reported that Herschel has been open about his 4 kids since 2018, when he said, quote, "I have 4 children, 3 sons and an undisclosed quote-unquote daughter. They're not undisclosed, they're my kids. I support them all and love them all. I've never denied my children. I just chose not to use them as props to win a political campaign." What parent would want their child involved in garbage gutter politics like this? So there you have it. The public record is clear. Herschel Walker is not and never was covering up the fact that he has 4 kids, which is a point that Christian seems very fixated on. Now, was he the best father throughout his life? No, and I think he would admit that. But this idea that he's not claiming his children just isn't true. There are receipts to prove the contrary. Secondly is the claim of the abortion, which, if you'll notice, even Christian in this video does not corroborate whether or not that's true. He just said it looks like his handwriting, which suggests that Christian Walker himself really has no insider knowledge on whether that's true. He doesn't have a clue. And notice, it's not the focus of the video either. He's clearly piling on in response to the story, but it's not even really what he's mad about, and I think that part is obvious. So I would say at best, the whole abortion story is just unproven. And honestly, I'm leaning towards the idea it's just a completely fabricated left-wing hit job. It's the Daily Beast, but for argument's sake, we'll just say unproven, so we can't argue for or against it. But Christian Walker does not make the story any more believable, because even he doesn't know. What is true is that Herschel Walker has had a past of violent mental illness. That part is true. The thing is, he has not been lying about it or covering it up. In fact, he wrote an entire book about it in 2008 called Breaking Free: My Life with Dissociative Identity Disorder. The entire book is a redemption story of how he was a very violent and ill person that overcame his demons through therapy and Christianity. I'm going to read you a passage from the AP article about the book so you can get an idea. All right, quote, "The book is framed as a turnaround story. He casts himself as someone on the path to integration because of his therapy and Christian faith. A watershed moment," he writes, "came in February 2001 when he drove around suburban Dallas hunting for a man who he said was avoiding his calls after being days late delivering a car that Walker had purchased. Walker said, 'The logical side of me knew that what I was doing to this man, murdering him for messing up my schedule, wasn't a viable alternative. But another side of me was so angry that all I could think about was how satisfying it would feel to step out of the car, pull out the gun, slip on the safety, and squeeze the trigger.' Ultimately," Walker wrote, "he had a change of heart after seeing a 'Smile, Jesus loves you' bumper sticker on the man's car hauling truck. He decided to instead seek professional help." So his past of violent tendencies is not a secret to anyone. What Walker does omit from the book, and Christian is right about this part, is his instances of domestic abuse and violent threats, both in 2001 around his divorce and in 2005 when he found out that his ex-wife was dating another man. However, I don't know if that's entirely badly intentioned. I mean, he literally admitted to wanting to kill a guy, so it's not like he's just too embarrassed to air his dirty laundry. If anything, I don't know. I'm just assuming the best. I'm not sure. If anything, though, I would think maybe he was trying to protect the identity of his wife and kid, not try to bring them into it, and that's why he omitted it. I don't really know, but that seems like a very strong possibility. Given the context of everything else, it seems like strong enough of a possibility that he can get the benefit of the doubt. Because it's not like he was denying being a violent person. So it seems like he genuinely might have just been trying to protect their identity, right? Keep them out of the story. And for the record, court documents about his domestic issues have been publicly reported in the media since at least 2021 before he even announced. So it's not like it's some big cover-up that he has denied until now. So it honestly confuses me what Christian Walker actually wants. Like, Herschel hasn't denied any of this besides the one abortion story that Christian doesn't even know whether it's true. But like, do you expect him to go all around on the campaign trail touting the fact that he pointed a gun at his ex-wife? Just because you don't wear something proudly doesn't mean you are hiding or lying about it. Again, you know, what is the expectation? Of course, he's not going to center his campaign around that stuff, nor should he. I don't think not making that the focus of your campaign is equivalent to just outright lying about it, okay? Now, what I will say is that I think we can certainly tell that Herschel Walker is not a violent man anymore. And I think that's evident by the fact that even Christian was hanging out with him throughout much of 2021. Clearly, he's not scared of his dad anymore. Clearly, there's a consensus that he's changed, which brings me to my conclusion on Herschel Walker. I'm not going to be the judge on the guy's character. I don't know everything, but I lean towards the opinion from what I've seen that he was a very messed up person who genuinely did change and is on the path to redemption. Maybe that's not in a straight line. Maybe even running for Senate isn't the best thing for this point in his life, but I do think the signs indicate that he's not the same person he was years ago. I do think Jesus Christ is working in his life, and I think he genuinely regrets a lot of his past. That's my inclination. I think him trying to restore a relationship with his son is an example of that. But unfortunately for him, he's going to have to live with a lot of the worldly consequences for his mistakes. His son still being resentful towards him is one of them. And I pray for both of them, and I hope you do too. But here's what I will close with. Whether or not you are convinced of Herschel Walker's supposed redemption or the extent to which that has happened, remember this too. I've said this many times. Politics in a democratic society is not a referendum on personal moral character. I hate to break it to you. It is a referendum on what they are going to do for the common good and morality of the country. The sheer reality of a democracy and the fallen state of man and the equally fallen state of modern America is that very rarely are you going to get morally upstanding leaders across the board. The real question you should ask is, will they advocate for things that are overall beneficial for the gospel and conservatism in America, or are they overall harmful? You know, this is the same concern that liberal evangelicals raised with Trump, and the overturning of Roe completely shattered that. You know, there's no argument there. And here's the way I see it. Regardless of what you think, it seems to me that Herschel Walker will vote for pro-life policy and pro-family policy. It seems to me that these stories, even if they're true or not, will not impact his ability to do that. I think he's just going to vote as a conservative Republican. On the other hand, Raphael Warnock is a pro-abortion, quote-unquote, pastor who radically advocates for the genocide of millions and is leading people to hell through his false teaching and heresy from a position of alleged not just political authority, but spiritual authority. So before you moralize to me for supporting the lesser of two evils here, keep in mind what you're doing for everyone else if you boycott Herschel Walker, okay? Just think about that. Anyways, with that said, guys, let me know what you think. All right, there's my thoughts on the situation. Let me know yours. Like and subscribe if you're new. Do it, okay? Go subscribe if you are new and you're not subscribed to the channel. What are you, some type of communist? What are you, some type of Brandon? True. Subscribe to the channel, all right? See you guys. Alpha moves only. God bless and peace.